Books that predicted our reality. 1898. A writer publishes a book about a massive ship called the Titan that sinks after hitting an iceberg. 14 years later, the Titanic sinks in the exact same way. But this isn't an isolated case. What if I told you that writers from decades ago described with precision the world we live in today? From space travel to absolute control of information, some books seem to have looked into the future and gotten it right. Stay until the end, because the last prediction might change the way you see reality. Chapter 1. Jules Verne and the Journey to the Moon. 1865. Jules Verne writes from the Earth to the Moon. In his story, he describes in astonishing detail a space journey that didn't exist yet. Now listen to this. The spacecraft takes off from Florida. It carries 3 astronauts. It returns to Earth with an ocean landing. Almost 100 years later, the Apollo 11 mission happens exactly like that. Was it a premonition? A coincidence? Or a mind capable of seeing beyond its time? Chapter 2. The Titanic, a Tragedy Foretold. Futility, published in 1898. A book about a gigantic ocean liner, called the Titan, believed to be unsinkable, but it collides with an iceberg and sinks. 14 years later, the Titanic meets the same fate. Same speed. Same number of passengers. Same point of impact. How could Morgan Robertson predict something with such accuracy? Was it just luck, or was destiny warning us and no one listened? Chapter 3. Robots and Karel Čapek. Today, artificial intelligence runs factories, assists in surgeries, and even creates art. But the word robot didn't always exist. In 1920, Czech writer Karel Čapek coined the term in his play RUR. In his story, humans create artificial workers, who eventually rebel against their creators. A century later, with AI on the rise, many experts warn, what if Čapek's fiction becomes our reality? Chapter 4. 1984. Big Brother is watching you. How much does your phone know about you? Have you ever mentioned something out loud, and then saw an ad for it on social media? In 1949, George Orwell wrote 1984, where he imagined a world of total surveillance. Cameras everywhere. A manipulation of information. Thought control. What once seemed exaggerated is now our everyday reality. Did Orwell predict the future, or was he simply warning us about what was coming? Final, a future that is already here. History has shown us that science fiction writers are not just dreamers. They are visionaries. They predicted robots, the internet, space travel, and the control of information. But here's the real question. What books today are predicting our future? Could a novel already exist that describes the world 50 years from now? Leave us a comment. What story do you think could become reality? And if you enjoyed this video, don't miss the next one.